Let's do a quick economic and real estate update now that we're just over a month since the shelter in place took effect. The Dow currently sits just above 24,000, which is significantly lower than where we were when this outbreak hit. At that point, we were actually setting all-time highs just under 30,000, but due to a lot of the uncertainty and unknown, there was a major suppression in the economy where the Dow dropped below 20,000, giving back all of its gains since 2016. But now we've made a tremendous comeback to 24,000 because of hopes that we're going to have a vaccine pretty soon and have medicine that's going to slow down this outbreak, which will lead to the economy reopening, businesses reopening, people getting back to work. On the real estate side, the major concern was around April rent collections. And an initial report came out that stated that 31% of renters were not able to pay their rent, which is significantly higher than the norm of 9%. But there was a flaw in this report that it came out just after the 5th of the month. And the 5th of the month was a Sunday. And at least where I live, mail does not get delivered on Sundays. So management companies were not able to give an accurate depiction of the true rent collections. So giving it another week, we actually saw that it was 16% of renters that were unable to pay their rent, which is not that far off the norm of 9%. Now we're very concerned about the rent collections for the month of May because people have been out of work for about 2 months and they've used the majority of their reserves to get them through March and to get them through April. And they haven't had income because they haven't been working. This now leads me into my major concerns that I have as we continue to get through this COVID-19 outbreak. The first one, as I just stated, comes down to May rent collections and rent collections moving forward. And this is paired with when are people going to get back to work? Jobless claims were up another just over 5 million this past week, bringing a total of 22 million. So how much farther are we going to go into this? How many more people are going to be laid off, unemployed, and not working and not having a stable, substantial income? How many businesses are we going to see not make it through? I was reading an article describing 10 major companies that had either filed for bankruptcy, were closing stores, or struggling tremendously before all this happened. So COVID-19 is probably going to expedite their struggles and their closing. But beyond those companies like Sears, Macy's, and JCPenney, how many other big businesses, how many other small businesses are we going to see close their doors because they're not going to be able to recover? Then there's the risk of hyperinflation, which stems from the Fed. And the Federal Reserve can change the value of the dollar to help save the US economy from a recession. And they do this in two ways. Number one is interest rates, and number two is printing more money. So right now, interest rates are about as low as they can get before they turn negative. And if they turn negative, that's a very bad sign for the US economy. The second way is increasing the circulation of money, stimulating the economy. We did this just after the '08 crash with quantitative easing, printing a lot more money, getting money into people's hands. They're also doing it now when they declare that they're going to be buying back more bonds, the stimulus checks, and all the PPP loans for businesses. So interest rates are about as low as they can get. Quantitative easing, printing more money, has taken effect. And because there's not much more room, we may see hyperinflation once we get through all of this. What's going to be the short-term and long-term drawbacks of all this from a societal standpoint? How are people's mentalities shifting? Are people going to be more fearful of coming into contact with one another? Are people afraid of going outside, going out to restaurants and other nightlife and entertainment, where restaurants may have to become more of a delivery service? Retail may have to become strictly e-commerce. I don't really know what these drawbacks are going to be and shift in people's mentalities, but it's just something to consider along with my other concerns as we hopefully get back to normal as soon as possible and start to recover from this COVID-19 outbreak.